After 25 years, Harrison finally did move on from WJMA, which in the 1970s became styled as Radio Orange. He didn't move up to a larger radio station in a bigger town as he thought he would when he came to WJMA back in 1961. Instead, he moved into retirement. In 1984, he sold WJMA to Digby Solomon, who would take the station into its next chapter and the new era of deregulated radio. For Harrison and the others involved in WJMA's first 4 decades, all the years of action and creativity, all the years of being the community's informed friend, soon became a collection of memories.
People remember so well that period, and I'm rewarded by that. And they understand when I said, I just can't do it. Things have changed so much that I don't know wouldn't know how to begin. And we won some nice prizes, and there's that nice picture of everybody over in the hotel in Fredericksburg, and that was Ann Pritchett at the time had just come to work on the sales staff, and she was just astounded that this was what this radio station did. The awards that were given for excellence were really, really heartening and rewarding. So people liked us. That's the main thing, and it was a joy. It really was. But I think it was time to leave when we left, and at times I really miss it. But that is not something that hangs over me all the time.
It is a source of common experiences and common knowledge. And certainly one of the characteristics of a community is that there's at least a certain base of knowledge that is common to virtually everyone who lives in that community. It's part of the glue that binds them together, so it's not just a bunch of isolated individuals. And certainly a radio station does that.
We were doing things, probably if the bottom line had been the only arbiter of what would have been here, we were doing some things probably that would not have made the cut. Well, I think we were doing them because Arch thought that they were just good to do. They were good for the community.
But I think that it certainly helps to keep our community informed. We need to know what's going on in our community. But I think that people in the community ought to know what our Board of Supervisors is doing and what our town council is doing.
But that station over here has been a blessing, I'm telling you. You could lose something, put it on the radio, and they'd tell it. Animal get lost, they could always find it. It's had a lot of benefits to it, I will tell you that. Yeah, that's been one of the greatest things that ever happened in Orange, right?
There was a lot of great stuff to come out of Spicer's Mill Road in Orange, Virginia. And I was given the opportunity to be part of that. And I took a lot of Arch's philosophies with me everywhere I went.
I don't know at the time I realized how good it was, but the farther I get away from it, the more I realized that it was really a special time and a place. And I don't know that we'll ever get back there again, or that we even should. But it existed at a time. We've moved on.
You know, as I said, as I remember it as a kind of Grover's Corners. So at the time, I don't think I was thinking of it that way. I thought that, this is the way all towns are. But as I look back on it, I realize how different it was and how different JMA was from many local radio stations.
I don't know if it was a time period or how that culture was created, but I haven't found it since. So yeah, I'd like to go back to Brigadoon.
I just had a real good time. And when I can have friends who remember, and remember more than I can remember, that's really wonderful.